What's up, Bake Off fans? It's Jack here at bakewithjack.co.uk, bringing you my weekly thoughts on the Great British Bake Off. And last week was week number 9, which means semi-finals week. 4 bakers in the house, in the tent, semi-finals week, and everything's getting tense and tight. And this is where it gets properly sad when we say bye-bye to people. But hey, week number 9, let's do it. Let's go for it. Okay, so round number 1, as always, is the signature bake week. We all know it's the signature bake. And this week, I would have been delighted if I got the task this week of 24 choux buns filled with my choice of filling. They done 2 fillings. They done one with a crack-a-lang on top. The crack-a-lang. The crack-a-lang, which, crackling. Come on, it's crackling. But it's not the porky kind. It's the patisserie kind. And I love making choux pastry because it's so unique. You don't make anything like you make choux pastry. It's so unique and it puffs up light and airy as if some magical trickery has happened inside of the oven. And the key thing to do is to dry them out really nice. You bake it hot to get that, and then you dry them out really nicely so they hold their shape. Because when you fill them up, they got to hold a lot of that heavy filling or moussey filling or whatever it is. They got to hold a lot of that stuff, and you've got to bake it properly, otherwise it's going to go. And even so, it's a little bit like Yorkshire puddings, and when you bake them and they're not quite done yet and you take them out of the oven, when they're resting up, they go, and that is bad news. So that crack-a-lan disc is something that I thought was very impressive the first time I did it. I was blown away the first time I did that. I thought that's something so simple, and if you've never done it before, it is well simple. Go and have a look it up on Google, because it is literally just a little bit, almost like a biscuit mix, a buttery biscuit mix that you roll. Some of them rolled them out flat and cut out circles. I like to roll mine in a sausage because chefs love rolling stuff into sausages. We just can't help ourselves when that cling film comes out. Roll it into a sausage and cut off nice little pound coin discs and pop them on the top. It's such an impressive thing to do and such a simple thing to do. If you're making choux buns, give it a go because it gives that wicked sweet crunch on the outside that is just so delicious. So let's go through with it, shall we? There's only 4 bakers left in the tent, so let's go through them one by one, starting with Sophie from Surrey. Now, Sophie from Surrey loves making patisserie, and she told us that she loves making patisserie, and then she said, oh, but it might not mean that I'm good at it, but that's what she likes doing the best. And you know what? All of her choux buns look very, very uniform and very, very refined and very, very impressive. Unfortunately, Paul Hollywood said himself he felt a tinge of disappointment because they're a little bit flat, a little bit saggy and a little bit underbaked like I was talking about earlier, and that's a real shame. Got that little soggy Yorkshire pudding effect going on, but they looked really wonderful. That was really impressive. Stacey busted out the food colouring again and made choux-moji buns. Choux-mojis. She made choux-moji buns. She made choux-moji emoji buns, and someone said they looked like curry. She put a lot of complicated things going on in that choux bun, and that's what we've come to know with Stacey. Unfortunately, she didn't really pull it off this time round. Stephen, I've got a few words written down. I don't really want to say them out loud because it breaks my heart a little bit, but I'm going to go for it. Burnt, flat, untidy, undercooked. Oh, it's such a shame. But hey, they really enjoyed the key lime pie filling. That's all I've got to say for Stephen on that one. Man, it cuts me deep. And Kate pulled it out of the bag. Last week I feel like she had a dodgy week, and I feel like the week before she had a dodgy week as well. And there was a lot of stuff going on about Twitter last week about whether Liam should have gone or whether Kate should have gone. It was between the two, to be fair. But Kate this week showed us what she was made of again. Those few little instances that I saw in the opening episodes of the show, she busted out some wicked peach and prosecco choux buns. They had amazing shape, they looked amazing, and the judges were well impressed by the flavours going on. Absolutely delicious. Nice work, Kate the blacksmith, bringing it back. Moving on to round number 2. The technical. We all like a bit of technical. It's a very complicated thing, and it's a nice surprise. And this week, being the semi-final week, was a very tricky one. It looked like it comes straight off that show, Creme de la Creme. Did anybody watch that? This round, the Les Miserables, was all about precision. nice layering. Oh man, I do miss Mary. Does anybody else miss Mary? I like Prue, she does well, but there's a hole. There's a Mary-shaped hole inside of my heart that can't be filled that way, and it's a real shame. So accurate layers is what we were going for here. I think there was 4 layers of that Jacon sponge, some lovely creme au beurre in there, and some other elements to make it look something straight out of some Parisian patisserie window. And here's where the spoilers are happening. If you don't want to hear some spoilers, turn off now. I'll give you 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Let's go through the rankings. 4th place, very slightly untidy, was Kate. And to be fair, they all looked quite nice, like they did quite a good job. And it's a very accurate thing and a very careful, clever thing to be able to cut really nicely. But Kate came 4th place with a slightly untidy one. 3rd place came Stephen. 2nd place comes Stacey, and somebody's sponge was very green, was very vibrant green. And if I think, my instinct is telling me it was Stacey, although I can't remember, but I'm led to believe it was probably Stacey. She came in 2nd place, very vibrant green, and 1st place was Sophie. She's got an eye for detail, that refinement. Sophie came 1st place in this round. Congratulations on smashing that technical to smithereens. The 3rd round. Here it comes. The showstopper was something made out of a lot of egg whites. It was meringue, big, massive meringue sculptured display pieces. Wow, and weren't these some stunners? Across the board, I think there was some wicked stunners. Let's go through them, shall we? Sophie from Surrey made this tutu, and she had a cracking time. I couldn't resist it. I know it's not funny, but she had a cracking time making some, making the sort of bust of the tutu, I suppose. Was that what it is? Like the leotard bit? But it all cracked up a lot, but she saved it. She was piping stuff in there and sticking it back together, and she was persisting because she could have quite easily have just tossed it all on the floor and smashed it to pieces and given up. But she didn't do that, and that's where the kudos lies with Sophie from Surrey. Nice one. She put this opera cake, chocolate coffee opera cake inside, and they were very, very impressed with the flavour of that. There was a little remark from Hollywood saying it looked a bit like a hat, but let's move on. Stacey done that very pink flamingo. There we are noticing a trend here, come on. Very, very pink flamingo, and actually looked quite nice, but she nearly dropped it all over the floor. And it was a little bit tart. The flavours inside a little bit tart, which is a bit of a shame. But other than that, looks-wise, it was amazing. Kate made some super multicoloured, stunning rainbow and fruity piece that looked really, really well. And Kate is bringing it back this week. She's showing us what she's made of. She's got moves and she wants us all to know about it. This week, she absolutely smashed that. Absolute celebration of fruit and cream, said Prue. She said it is Kate on a plate, and that's exactly what we wanted to see the whole time, is Kate on a plate. And Stephen done something rather impressive looking and rather worryingly balanced on top, and it was a hot air balloon, and it come up on a stick, and the big bowl was round shape, and I thought maybe you'd get a little bit criticised because someone at the soiree who's ordered this wonderful patisserie treat has got to cut that up, and that's going to be tricky. But hey, he had a bit of a tricky time stacking stuff on top of each other, which was really nerve-wracking. Oh my goodness, it was so tense I couldn't even cope, and it was so hot in the tent. We all saw that little basket melting, and that is flipping hot. Seriously, if it's that hot in there that the chocolate basket just melted and turned into liquid and fell off, that's a real bummer. Maybe should have gone for the old meringue on that one, made a little meringue basket. But there you go, that's just part of the fun and part of the deal. But it was really, really tense at the end. It was very, very neck and neck in that round. Okay, are you ready? Here come the big, massive spoilers. And this one was tough to call because, especially in that last round, everything was tight, tight, tight. Everyone seemed to be neck and neck by the end of it. Anyway, looking at my notes over the 3 rounds. So this one was a really tough one to call, but let's call it, shall we? This week, we had to say bye-bye to Stacey. Stacey, you've provided us with loads of entertainment value. That bit of paper in the pie, I'm sorry to bring it up, but that was hilarious. Your face was so funny. And it's little things like that we remember. We remember you for being the most colourful contestant probably ever on the Great British Bake Off, and really trying to push and go the extra mile, bringing extra elements into what you're making. And it's a shame to see you go, Stacey. I must admit, there were some dodgy things happening on Twitter about Stacey, which is a real shame, but I must admit, I had no idea where people were coming from because I really enjoyed watching how you're getting on. So it's sad to see you go, but we must say bye-bye to somebody, and this week was Stacey. So star baker was Sophie, and Sophie was really consistent through the whole episode this week, which was really, really good. It was a toss-up between all three of them. I was going to say it was a toss-up between Sophie and Stephen last week, but actually Kate has raised the bar a little bit, and I feel like they were all quite on the same plane for a while, but Sophie just about stole it at the end. So nice one, Sophie. Next week, in fact, it's tonight, because once again, I'm very late. This is just the way I roll. So tonight's show is the actual final, and I'm already sad about thinking about if it's the final. I'm getting flashbacks to last year when it was the final, and I got very upset. And it was just sad to say bye-bye. And that whole Channel 4 BBC thing went off last year, and that was a little bit hard for a lot of people to stomach. And a lot of people felt sad about that as well. But hey, the final this week. The finalists, Sophie from Surrey, Stephen, and Kate the Blacksmith. And I just need one little moment. If you've been watching the whole video series, you'll know what I'm about to say. I'll just need to take a moment to get it out, and here it comes. Are you ready? I called it. I called it. If you wind back to week number 1, my video, Great British Bake Off week number 1, I called the finalists in week number 1. I called it. If you don't believe me, here's a little sneaky clip. I've got my eyes peeled on a couple of people. I have got my eyes peeled on Stephen, Kate the Blacksmith, and Sophie from Surrey, because they all got some moves. They all got moves, you can tell. But hey, anything can happen in this competition. We see people go out for one bad round. They have got moves. I said they've got moves. Sophie from Surrey's got moves. Kate the Blacksmith's got moves. Stephen without the nickname has got moves. I called the finalists. And that's just a little moment of smuggery I had to take. I'm sorry. Let's move on. So listen, my name is Jack at Bake with Jack. If you've watched the whole series, thank you so much for watching. Sorry I skipped that the other week. I'm very upset with myself. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm Jack at bakewithjack.co.uk, and if you want to know anything about bread, I hope that I'm the guy. I'm trying to make my website into a really wicked resource with videos and recipes and stuff like that. And if you want to come and bake with me in person, you can come and bake some bread with me in person, and that would be awesome. I'll put a little link underneath so you can come and find where I am at bakewithjack.co.uk, and that's it. Hey, thank you so much. I'm really, really sad about tonight's show. But I'll be back with a roundup, with a round-off of series number 8 of the Great British Bake Off. Peace. She made shoe emoji.